What's up, guys? So today we're going to be talking about Kamzat Chimaev, and we're going to be talking about how he matches up against the rest of the division, plus somebody else who I thought I would include in this video. We're going to be looking at mainly the top 5 guys in the middleweight division, except for obviously Whitaker because he already fought Rob. So anyways, we're going to get right into this video, and I want to start off with Sean Strickland, who actually does have really good takedown defense. He stands very upright and typically frames out when people attempt takedowns on him. Drakus did have a bit of success against Strickland when he would shoot his takedowns because he would run Strickland into the fence and use the fence to secure the takedowns. However, Strickland has never fought somebody as aggressive as Kamzat. And if you look at some of his fights, even like the Abus Magomedov fight, for example, and all of the fights where people have tried to incorporate takedowns, Strickland would get up, but he would give up his back in order to get up, in order to set himself and get up to his feet. And that is one thing you definitely don't want to do against a wrestler like Kamzat Chimaev, because Chimaev is so aggressive, and once he gets on your back, he's going to be looking for chokes. He's going to be ground and pounding you. He's going to be extremely aggressive from the back. So I think Chimaev is actually a really good style to beat somebody like Sean Strickland, because you do not want to stand and you don't want to box with Strickland, because he can box for 20 rounds fighting the style that he fights. Okay, so the next matchup that I wanted to touch on is DDP, Drakus du Plessis. Now, Drakus, this one, in my opinion, is Kamzat's toughest stylistic matchup in the whole division, because Drakus is a physical beast. Now, he can be taken down. Whitaker, if you saw DDP versus Whitaker, Whitaker took him down, but he had great timing on the takedown, and it'd be a lot harder to take Drakus down straight up, straight away, because Kamzat always shoots within the first 15 seconds on literally everybody, but nobody has been able to stop him from doing it. Now, it is worth noting that DDP did get back up very quickly after he's gotten taken down, so he's never been held down. But again, he's never fought somebody as good of an MMA wrestler as Kamzat Chimaev. Now, the reason that I like this matchup so much, and I hope this is the fight that we get to see one day, is because I think that these two middleweights, Drakus du Plessis and Kamzat Chimaev, are the two strongest guys at middleweight. I mean, they're both just monsters. And Drakus can also go 5 hard rounds. So, in my opinion, out of all of the middleweights, I do think Drakus is the hardest stylistic matchup, and I think that right there is a 50-50 fight, because Drakus can survive the onslaught. Kamzat could possibly finish Drakus early, but if he doesn't, I mean, Drakus is an animal to be in there with. If it's going past the first, he's going to keep putting pressure and pressure and pressure on you the whole fight. All right, and now the next matchup I wanted to discuss is Israel Adesanya. Now, Izzy is a pure striker, and if we're just talking about wrestling, he is definitely the worst wrestler in the top 5 and probably the worst wrestler in the whole middleweight division. His whole style is built off of defending takedowns, and he'll jab and he'll leg kick you for 5 rounds, and that's about it. I think Kamzat, this is his easiest fight. I think he would shoot on Izzy. Izzy would try to defend. He might shoot another takedown, get him down, throw him on his head, and choke him out pretty quickly. Okay, so another matchup that I wanted to talk about is Nasruddin Imavov, who's also ranked in the top 5, I believe, number 5 right now. So I believe this is another stylistic matchup that favors Chimaev, because Imavov, actually, the last guy he fought, Brendan Allen, is a wrestler, and Allen was able to hold him down. He was able to take the back, land a little bit of ground and pound. You tried some submissions and tried to do some things, but not like what Kamzat would do if he was able to take Imavov down. Allen did control Imavov for a pretty good amount of time, pretty much the entire first round, and I feel like if that's Kamzat that's taking you down, he's going to be in a lot more trouble than if it's Brendan Allen. So I think Chimaev can beat Imavov fairly easily. All right, and now the final one that I wanted to touch on today is the light heavyweight champion of the world, Alex Poatan Pereira. Now, this is interesting because on paper, Kamzat ragdolls Alex Pereira, but the thing is, Alex is extremely dangerous. He is a lot more dangerous than any of these other guys on this list. So Hamza has to be a lot more careful. So I think he might have to pressure Alex Pereira and try to shoot a takedown from closer distance. I wouldn't be shooting from distance against Alex Pereira because, how well he moves and, how dangerous of a striker he is. So this one is interesting. Now, again, it's a really bad matchup for Pereira because, again, Pereira is a stand-up guy. His whole objective, keep it on the feet. If he gets taken down, get back up. He has given up his back, and he's looked pretty clueless before wrestling in there. If you looked at Izzy versus Alex 1, he looked pretty clueless in the wrestling exchanges. Now, he has improved since then, but he hasn't improved to the level of like a Kamzat Chimaev. But even then, I do think Kamzat is a very bad stylistic matchup for Pereira. And I tell you what, if it goes past the first 2 rounds, I would definitely pick Alex Pereira to win that fight. But I just think Kamzat is going to be such a nightmare for him. I think he'd probably be the toughest guy for Alex to fight, 205 pounds or under. Okay, so now out of all of the guys that we just discussed, I'm going to go through and tell you guys which one's the easiest and then which one's the hardest. So the easiest matchup out of all of these guys, I think, is Nasruddin Imavov. I think Kamzat beats Imavov. If they fight 10 times, I think Kamzat's beating him 9 out of 10 times. After that, Izzy. Izzy and Pereira are very similar, but I think Pereira holds something that Izzy doesn't, which is a KO threat, and he's also bigger and stronger than Izzy. So I'm going to say Kamzat beats Adesanya 8 times out of 10. Now, Alex Pereira, like I said, similar stylistic matchup as Izzy, but Pereira does have a couple more attributes that do favor him. However, if we're just talking about this matchup, Kamzat does have a clear advantage when it just comes to the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu. I'm going to say Kamzat beats Alex Pereira 7 out of 10 times if they were to fight. Sean Strickland. This is a really interesting one. I'd like to see this one. I hope the UFC could make this fight one day. I know they'd love to because think about how many pay-per-views this would sell. Strickland versus Kamzat. Now, anyways, I think Kamzat Chimaev would beat Sean Strickland. If they were to fight 10 times, I think Kamzat would win 6 out of 10 times because Strickland has a really good ability of weathering the storm, and he's got good takedown defense. He's been able to get up. Like I said, the thing that does concern me, though, is he's just never fought somebody quite like Kamzat when it comes to the wrestling. Now, the number one hardest stylistic matchup, as I've already said, Dricus du Plessis. Just a physical monster. He's got submissions, and he can create damage out of pretty much any position. And he's just the most awkward stylistic matchup, too. A lot of these other guys, they're pretty traditional MMA fighters, whereas Dricus can kind of just figure his way out through things. So he's going to be a tough one. And I think that is a 50-50 fight right there. So I would say Kamzat wins 5 out of 10 times. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the entire video and sticking around. And I'm going to be making more videos, so make sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one.